From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, August the 22nd, 2019. 2 rockets were fired at southern Israel from Gaza last night. Both landed in open areas, and there was no damage or injury. In response, Israeli jets struck a number of Hamas terror targets in Gaza, specifically targeting a Hamas naval facility. The IDF said it will continue to oppose attempts to harm Israeli civilians and considers the Hamas terrorist organization responsible for what happens in and out of the Gaza Strip. An off-duty IDF soldier was assaulted at the Allenby border crossing with Jordan yesterday. The IDF said a 35-year-old Palestinian man returning to the West Ridge from Jordan is seen in security footage walking around waiting for someone to attack when he sees the off-duty man, who is in civilian clothing and wraps a cell phone charger cord around his neck, trying to strangle him. The soldier was able to fight off the assailant and run for help. Security guards arrested the Palestinian, who was taken for questioning. Israel reportedly reached an agreement with the Palestinian Authority for the transfer of a portion of back taxes. Also reported an agreement to exempt Palestinians from a large fuel tax, all part of a bid to ease economic conditions for the Palestinians. The Times of Israel cites Palestinian Civil Affairs Minister Hussein al-Sheikh saying an agreement was reached a few days ago with the Israeli side to transfer the tax money on oil and fuels, which the Palestinian Authority bought in Israel, to the amount of around 2 billion shekels, which is $568 million. Al-Sheikh said that while the funds would help, they would not solve the problems between Israel and the PA, referring to Israel freezing such transfers over the PA's continuing to pay stipends to terrorists and the families of terrorists who have murdered Israelis. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin called U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi yesterday on what the president's residence called the backdrop of recent events, likely referring to Israel being politicized of late, causing a partisan divide. Rivlin told the speaker the relationship between the State of Israel and the United States is a link between peoples, which relies on historical ties, deep and strong friendships, and shared values that are not dependent on the relationship with one particular party. Rivlin added, "We must keep the State of Israel above political disputes and make every effort to ensure that support for Israel does not become a political issue." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met this morning with the administrator of U.S. government body USAID, Mark Green. USAID advances American national security and economic prosperity. The Prime Minister tweeted he congratulated Green on the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Israel on broad global cooperation. Yesterday, the Prime Minister met with Republic of Korea Trade Minister Yoo Myung-hee in Jerusalem. They signed a free trade agreement, which Netanyahu remarked was the first with an Asian economy. There was a dispute over including goods from Israeli settlements and from the Golan Heights in the agreement. However, a compromise was reportedly reached to not differentiate between such goods, but to allow South Korea to withhold benefits from such goods, in which case, if they do so, Israel would compensate those companies. A special concert celebrating music, hope, and resilience was held this week at Yad Vashem, Israel's memorial to the Holocaust. The 13th annual Mashiv HaRuach klezmer concert took place in the museum's Warsaw Ghetto Square, where survivors and their families enjoyed classic klezmer tunes played by musicians from Israel and around the world. Yad Vashem spokesman Simi Allen explained the festive performance is held every year in honor of the klezmer musicians who were murdered during the Holocaust. Leading British soccer team Chelsea FC Women's played Israel's women's national team this week, winning 3-1 at HaMoshava Stadium Tuesday in Petach Tikva. The friendly match was sponsored by Chelsea's owner Roman Abramovich, who is Jewish, and the IFA, the Israeli Football Association, to celebrate and develop women's sport in Israel. On Monday, the team toured Jerusalem's Old City And on Sunday, together with the IFA and the Paris Center for Peace and Innovation, held training sessions for Israeli and Palestinian girls, part of the center's program using the sport to help build bridges. Also part of Chelsea's Say No to Anti-Semitism campaign, which was launched last year to raise awareness of and educate players and fans about anti-Semitism in football, and is part of their ongoing inclusion efforts through the Building Bridges campaign. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, August the 22nd at 7 o'clock, it's Talmud Study. At 8, a look at Jewish journalism. At 9, Mark Golub and Thane Rosenbaum discuss the criticism of Israel over its decision to bar Representatives Omar and Tlaib from visiting quote-unquote Palestine, as well as Omar's questioning Israeli democracy and U.S. foreign aid, and President Trump's tweet about Jews voting Democratic. At 10, it's the Jake Ehrenreich Show, and coming up right after this newscast, it's ILTV's Election Arena. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, August the 22nd, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.